Sunday is Mother's Day, so I want to take a little bit of time to talk about co-parenting. If you've been in a divorce or custody case in the past, or if you're in one now, it can be extremely difficult to keep a positive relationship with your child's other parent. The issue, though, is that it's extremely important to keep that positive relationship if you can. All of the research suggests that it doesn't matter what kind of parenting plan you have. It doesn't matter if your child sees you every week, every other weekend, every few days, only in the summers. The parenting plan doesn't actually matter. What matters most for outcomes for children are the amount of conflict that the parents have. So if a child is exposed to ongoing conflict between the parents, that's when we see negative outcomes. And this is because conflict puts children in a really difficult position. They either feel like they have to choose between one parent or the other, or they are afraid that if they say something positive about one parent, that it will make the current parent that they're talking to feel bad. Or children see the level of conflict and they assume that that is a reasonable way to handle conflict in any relationship. And especially the very volatile conflicts we see between parents that involve name calling, even hitting, anything like that is not how we want our children to settle their disputes with people in the future. So there are a few things that we talk to parents about all the time in regards to how to improve your parenting situation. If you're already in a high conflict situation with your co-parent, or if you're just afraid that it might go there, I highly recommend to, first of all, limit as much in-person contact as possible, but also when you do have that in-person contact, to keep it completely calm. So you're not going to have any discussions about your schedule next week or what your child's eating or anything like that. You're not going to do that in person. And if you can limit the number of exchanges in person, for example, by having one parent drop your kid off at school and the other pick them up from school so you never have to see each other, then that's even better if your relationship is a high conflict relationship. Because if your child is always going to see you in a conflict with the other parent, the best case situation is to just have no situations where you can get into a conflictual position. Obviously, we would love for children to be able to see their parents in having positive interactions, but if that's not possible, just limit your interactions in general. Because your communication is not going to be happening face to face, you need to have those conversations over email or through a custody app like Our Family Wizard or Talking Parents or Custody Exchange. I highly recommend that you do not have important parenting discussions over text message. That is because text messages pop up when you're in the middle of something else, when maybe you're having a bad day at work, or you've already had a glass of wine, or your child just did something to annoy you. And if you respond in that moment, you are more likely to say something that you will regret later. What I recommend is to respond via email or one of these apps so that when you get a message, you are only picking it up, whenever you check your mail. You don't get it to your phone while you're doing other things. You can even have a folder in your email that emails automatically go to so that you only have to check them once a day or something like that. You can read an email, you can respond to an email, and then put it in your drafts folder for a while and let it sit there and come back to it later, or have a good friend of yours come back to it later, have your attorney come back to it later, and really examine the language that's in it. The ideal response to an email or other communication from your co-parent is what we call BIFF, B-I-F-F. And there's actually a whole book with that name. And BIFF stands for brief, informative, friendly, and factual. This is the best practice for how to respond. So for example, if your co-parent emails you and says, "You didn't give our son his allergy medicine. I can't believe you did that. That was really stupid." Now, if you get that by text message, and if you're going to respond by text message, it's really easy to say, "Well, F you, I gave him the stuff." And that would then create a conflict in between you two. Even if you got that message over email, if you just responded, you may be all heated up when you respond, and that wouldn't be ideal. And so instead, you're going to think about BIF. So brief, we're going to keep it to about a sentence or two. You want to be informative about what you want them to know. You're going to be friendly, so lots of smiley faces and exclamation points. And you want it to be factual. So we're not going to talk about feelings or anything that happened in the past. We just want facts only. So your child's other parent says, you didn't give him his allergy medicine last Thursday. You can't believe you did that. You're stupid. Your response might be something like, thank you for bringing this to my attention. I gave our son his allergy medicine at 7 p.m. on Thursday. We don't have any more at my house. If you could please send some at the next exchange, that would be wonderful. Or let me know if I need to get my own. Sincerely, co-parent. Okay? If you see there, you thanked them, you were very polite, everything was factual, you just told them what happened, what you need, and it was very informational. They know exactly what had gone on in your house and what you need for the future. And I think that using this technique, using BIF, you can kind of keep things low key. The last tip that I have for you in order to improve a parenting situation, even if it's a pretty good one, is to really think about gratitude. And that gratitude is for yourself, thinking about what you appreciate about the other parent. So thinking about, I really appreciate that they do outdoor activities with my daughter because that's not my thing. Or I really appreciate how much my co-parent loves our daughter. There may be other things that you don't appreciate. You may not appreciate that they watch so much TV over there or that they never get their homework done, but there are probably a few things that you can appreciate about the other parent. And once you recognize those for yourself and kind of keep those in mind, it will help you focus your communication on positive rather than the negative things. And then once you've gotten a hang of that, then you may also want to try to express that appreciation to the other parent. And that might be something as simple as what we said in the email before, which is, thank you for bringing this to my attention. Or, I really appreciate you bringing the lunch to school. I really appreciate that you're taking him to soccer. These are really small things, but thanking your other parent will in turn make them more appreciative of you. It will keep things calmer. They may think that you're being sarcastic or not serious at first, but if you keep doing it over time, they'll start to get it that there are things about them that you appreciate and that you are happy that they're doing. And that really can go a long way to improving your relationship. So with Mother's Day coming up on Sunday, if you go to the link in our bio, you will find a Mother's Day card if you'd like to print it and use it. It says, thanks for being a good co-parent. And use this holiday and Father's Day and future holidays to set things off on a good foot for the following year, right? Thank your partner in parenting, even if not your romantic partner. This person who's your partner in parenting, they do a lot, even if they challenge you sometimes. And so if we can get to a point where we can start some mutual appreciation, it can lower that conflict level, which in turn can be really positive for your children.